Boink. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Yeah, everything's fine. We're just giving Ryan shit.
It's 9:35. Like always.
It's because you fucking deserve it, fucking asshole.
I know.
Eat something.
I will.
Will you?
Just I don't have any food right now. I mean,
Do you need us to send you something?
no, not. I don't have food not like that. Like, it's just my Cheez-Its are out in the living room. Anyway.
Well, you already started recording, and I started a little bit after you did. So, I guess we'll just have to fucking wait until we're done so you can go get your damn Cheez-Its. Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my
God, it's so fucking hot in this house. It sucks.
I'm sorry.
I don't have a fan in this room, so anyway, welcome back to another episode of The Review, where we watch the first 3 episodes of any given show and see if it holds up or catches our attention, or if it's just a piece of shit. You know, sometimes it's just how it goes. I'd say we've been lucky so far, but then again, I don't think we're daring enough to go ham with the fucking let's just put a bunch of shitty shows on there and see if we survive.
Because we're cowards, that's what it is.
I'm an absolute coward.
I have a slew of them. I just have been saving you guys from the torture.
Well, once this month is over and my birthday month is ended, until one of your guys' birthday months, or when your guys' birthday months pop up, however we want to go about it, we'll get back to the regular rotations. But for now, I get to handpick. So anyway, we got myself, we got Kevin, and then we got Dwayno.
Heyo.
And then Penny's over here passed out next to me because she hates that I don't give her as much attention as she fucking wants, because I have to pet her 24-7.
Just learn to do everything else one-handed.
Yeah. I have to sleep one-handed because even when I'm sleeping, she's like, "Hey,
are you serious?"
I swear to God. I swear to God. Every time I'm trying to sleep, and then she's just inching her face under my hand. Sucks.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so today's episode is hold on, I gotta get my train of thought back. Today's episode is a series I've been trying to get us to watch since we started, honestly. I keep putting it on the spin to win wheel and it never pops up. It's a Gundam Witch from Mercury. It is the newest Gundam in the Gundam series. One of the ones that's not part of the main Universal Century timeline.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of the spin-off alternate. I mean, you can kind of tell based on the designs of them. Which, Kevin, you're going to love that when I get to that little tidbit, because I have so much trivia on Gundam. I am so excited for this episode. I have a slew of things. But let's go into it. Gundam Witch for Mercury is special for a number of reasons. Some good, some kind of eh. It was directed by Hiroshi Kobayashi, who directed a couple of episodes of different Gundams, and I think was also director for a different Gundam series. I think I can't remember which one it was. His name didn't really pop up too often, so because they cycle people around quite a bit with Gundam. I will forever love the fact that the director for G Gundam specifically made his Gundam designs wild so that they couldn't sell the models. That
fucking hilarious.
That was my favorite fun fact.
It's so ridiculous.
It's great though.
The producer for this one was Naohiro Ogata, and it was mostly Sunrise, but they had to have a singular producer listed. The writer for the anime, because how Gundam does it is they always do they usually do the anime first, and then they make a manga or something. So they had to have like the writer for the series. The writer is Ichiro Okuchi. He was, I think, the assistant writer for Turn A Gundam, which is a somewhat older. I can't even say somewhat older because I think it's over 20 years old at least. Can you believe Gundam's been around for like almost 60 years?
I was talking about that with Nelly. I called Gundam the Michael Jackson of the anime universe.
So he was either the main writer or assistant writer to Turn A Gundam. He was also the writer for Wolf's Rain, Eureka 7, and Code Geass.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So he's got Wolf's Rain is one thing, but he's got some history with the mecha series.
Hell yeah!
Also not related to Gundam, but what always surprises me is Code Geass has like 5 different manga spin-offs, but the one that follows the main Code Geass storyline, the mechas aren't in it.
That's ridiculously lame. What the hell?
They just focus solely on the character and the drama.
That's kind of cool. It works as a novella, I guess.
It was definitely weird. It was definitely weird because like
the mechs are cool.
The Nightmare Frame fights were just so good. So this one is a special, not like special, but like a special type of Gundam because they had this prologue episode, which aired actually 3 months before the first episode aired.
Was
that early?
Yeah. Which, mind you, I didn't know because on Crunchyroll, they didn't post the episode until the first episode was posted. They posted the first episode, at least to my knowledge, maybe I missed it, but I was looking for Witch from Mercury for a while, and then like all of a sudden it was just, oh hey, there it is, and there's 2 episodes to watch. I'm like, oh, sure, okay, cool.
Maybe it was like a premiere thing, like they showed it off at some kind of event or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because from what it looks like, it's just like the prologue and then the first episode, right?
Yeah, and some semi-spoiler because it doesn't. I'm not gonna say too much, but those story beats from the prologue don't start kicking up until near the end of season 1.
I was gonna talk about that when we got into it.
So the prologue aired July 14th, 2022. So a little over a year ago, we got that prologue. And then the main anime started in October 2nd of 2022 and ended July 2nd, 2023. So, granted, it was on like a... What is it? It was on like a 3 or 4 month hiatus after season 1, so... It actually got a light novel story going on that started in January of 2023 and is still ongoing. And it got a spin-off. Why did I capitalize that? It got a spin-off manga just this May, which focuses on some of the other characters that are in the show. All right, so here comes my fun trivia part. This is, if I remember correctly, because I wrote it down, but I might be wrong. This is the 15th Gundam series, like main Gundam series, out of like the entirety of the history of Gundam. Like this is the one that was like a new 15th series.
Interesting.
It's also the first mainline Gundam series to come out after Iron-Blooded Orphans, which was 7 years ago.
Damn, has it really been that long? Holy shit.
Right? does not feel that long. But then I realized, like, man, I watched that shit hell long ago. Time fucking
That's
flies.
fucking bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's a two-part fun fact that a lot of people actually hated. It is the first female protagonist, as well as the first LGBTQ protagonist.
Really, the 1st?
Mhm.
I could have swore there was another one.
Mm-mm.
Nah.
There are LGBTQ characters, and there are female main characters, but not a female protagonist.
Mm.
And like I said, a lot of people did not like that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I loved it. I thought the characters were adorable. I thought it was fun. But that's not my Gundam. God, the amount of people.
Yeah, they want their war criminals and their hot-blooded teenage boys.
Yeah, with their
That's what Gundam's about.
their new type bullshit abilities and all that.
It sounded like a slur.
Fucking
Maybe.
new types.
Actually, there was one Gundam series that was, I think it was Zeta Gundam, which was the follow-up series to the original Gundam, where new types were like semi-discriminated against. So yeah,
There's hell of discrimination in this shit.
oh, absolutely. Gundam is all about that.
It is.
So here's the fun fact you're gonna like, Kevin. There were 8 different mecha designers for this series.
Oh.
Each company in the show was designed by a different person.
That's hella work. God fucking
So
damn.
yeah, so the Jetter company, they had a specific mecha design, so all of their designs were based on this guy. Then this company did it, or this guy did for this different company, and it was just all these different companies in the show had a specific designer for that part.
That's fucking crazy.
I think that's so fucking cool.
It's genius. It's
Yeah,
not
it makes-
genius.
It makes so much
Total sense. Yeah, total
My
sense.
phone is loud.
Just fucking bananas.
Forgot to mute that. There's also a lot of Shakespeare references throughout the show. One that I can mention is Suletta's mom, Prospera. Her name is based on Prospero, which is from Shakespeare's God, I think it's Tempest. And that comes into play near the end of the series as well. And then there's a bunch of other little references, but they pop up throughout the show, and you have to really look for them. Also, my last little trivia bit. This is the shortest Gundam series in all of Gundam.
I could see that. Yeah.
It only has 25 episodes.
Damn.
So yeah, it
Fucking G Gundam was a little bit more than that, right?
G Gundam had
Gundam was,
52, yeah.
Holy fuck.
Most Gundam series were in the 50 range.
Yeah, so like Iron Blooded Orphans too, right? They were
Yeah,
also
Iron
in that
Blooded
same.
Orphans, I think, had 50 to 51 episodes. Yeah, it is the shortest Gundam series in all of Gundam.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Which some people are like, "Oh, that sucks," because they could have extended the story a little more, this and that. But I almost feel like without coming out and saying it, this was like an experimental Gundam series. They're just testing the waters on like what they could try. But I mean, overall, I I liked it. This is probably one of my top 4 favorite Gundams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the nostalgia, but nothing will top 08th MS Team for me. Which, by the way, Kevin, when I get paid, I'm gonna order the DVD box set so you can watch it, so I can finally show you why I love that series so much.
Hell yeah, my fucking ground support Gundams only. I love that shit.
It's closely, and like there's no new type bullshit either. It's all like actual pilot skills.
Yeah, it's
Because
closest to like we'll get to like modern day mechs.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I love Amuro and I love all the other protagonists, but it's like, oh man, I'm a new type, so I can sense where the Gundams are. Like, come on.
Yeah, no fucking body being eaten away by the machine. No fucking full body trace system. Just good old fashioned Gundam piloting and shooting.
There is some like timey-wimey bullshit here and there, but it's like nothing nearly as crazy as the other Gundam series. Yeah, I think my main Gundam series I love is 08th MS Team, Iron Blooded Orphans. You gotta have G Gundam on there. You can't not have G Gundam on there. Which for Mercury, and then Wing Gundam, because Wing Gundam was the very first Gundam series I ever watched. So that's got a special place in my heart too.
That's fair.
So anyone got any opening statements before we get into the episodes?
This shit's fucking ace. That's my biggest compliment so far is that I know I haven't watched a lot of Les Classics, but what I have seen is like really good shit. So when I see stuff like this, it's like, oh fuck yeah. This is some baller ass shit. It's just it's really fun and it's really good. And yeah, that's all I got. Dwayne, you got anything?
I'm a very casual Gundam fan. I have seen about half of G Gundam. My favorite one is fucking Build Divers, which is just... It's literally just a bunch of boys building their mechs and then making them fight.
Oh yeah, you and me sat through that together.
I'm not gonna lie, if Build Gundam was real, I would absolutely try to do that.
But this was a good one. I enjoyed the 4 episodes, counting the prologue. I could see why it's got its popularity.
I will say this because we didn't get to this episode where it starts to realize like, oh hey, this is not fun times. This anime traumatizes you from the birthday song. There are 3 instances in this entire series where the birthday song is not a good time. But anyway, going on to episode 0. Episode 0 is the prologue episode. It is technically at the first an unexplained time before the main series. They will get into the backstory of it in like a couple episodes into the future. But basically we're shown this floating little space colony base kind of thing, where they are building Gundams, and there's this whole thing where they're trying to get this one to work, and that I'm not gonna lie, at first I was really confused by the whole data storm explanation of this Gundam, because that was, obviously a new thing for this series. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to basically get this Gundam, which was supposed to be like the most up-to-date Gundam ever, to turn on, but you had to get through like a certain like level of data, and if you got to a certain point, it would start like eating you alive essentially. And so they couldn't get it to do it, and because of Gundams basically killing the pilot, this big bureau of companies and this and that was like, hey, well, we should ban Gundams. And how we're going to do that is we're going to fucking slaughter all of these people who are working on this Gundam. So
fucking crazy right from the get-go.
Oh, absolutely. Just
holy shit, dude.
Gundam. You can't have Gundam without you can't spell Gundam without crazy.
Yeah, straight up, dude. Like, just immediately, just like, hey, we're gonna have a bad time. Fucking assholes.
If you go into a Gundam series expecting a fun time, you got to be watching Build Gundam because you're not gonna have a fun
dead
time.
ass. Holy shit. Oh my man.
Like you could start G Gundam and be like, oh, this is a good series, and then you get like halfway point, you're like, oh god, oh
yeah,
the drama.
for real. No, this one's just right from the get go. Like, yo, this is trash immediately.
So yeah, it happens to be Eri, the little daughter of what the fuck was her mom's name? Lane something. It happened to be her 4th birthday. She was very excited to have her little 4th birthday while floating around in this little base. But her mom being test pilot for the Gundam, she had to go do some stuff, and then all of a sudden the base gets attacked and everyone starts fucking dying. And that's a no bueno. All these, like, literally everyone just straight to the head just dies. Mom realizes Eri's gone from the house. They try to look for find her in the fucking Gundam, which suddenly turns on. It's like, holy shit, why is this Gundam suddenly working? She looks fucking down and her daughter is glowing blue. I'm like, oh, that's a bad sign. You're not supposed to do that, daughter.
It took me a moment to realize what that glowing blue meant when I first watched through it.
Well, because most of them glowed red, too.
Mm-hmm.
Did they? I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, whenever someone was using a Gundam, they had like the red marks, but she had blue, and also she wasn't in any physical pain. So it's like, huh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see I forget her name, but the one side character who's trying to fight off the attackers, she got blown to bits, but she was like breathing heavy and like glowing red, and then the dad was doing the same thing. He had the red marks and was breathing heavy. But Eri, little 4-year-old, was just like, oh no, I'm cool. And Eri unintentionally fucking blows up a shit ton of people and not even thinking it's a game. She's just like, oh, look at those markers, just pointing her little finger guns at people and blowing them all to hell. And unfortunately, the dad sacrifices himself to give Eri and the mom time to get out of there.
A chance to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the start of the good old fashioned hierarchy of corpos that love to screw everyone else over, which we lead into episode 1.
A massive tonal shift.
Exactly.
Stupid massive tonal shift.
That's why when I first saw it, I was like, episode 0 had to have been later, right? Like, there's no way they showed this, and then nope, it was first.
It's fucking crazy.
You explaining that it showed before the show aired makes a whole lot of sense. Because I think if it started with the first episode, some people would have been a little on it. Not saying that the first episode's bad. When we get there, I'll voice my opinions on it. Mm-hmm. But like you said, a lot of people didn't like the female protagonist. A lot of people didn't like the LGBTQ protagonist. This is episode 0 is like a proper Gundam start.
Yeah.
And so this probably gave people a very specific expectation and built up the hype to go and watch it.
Yeah, episode 0 is definitely an interesting prologue episode, because especially going into the rest of the series, at first you're just like, wow, this is just Gundam High School. I wish I could go to that, just like I could go to Yu-Gi-Oh! High School.
Honestly, Yu-Gi-Oh! High School would be better. Gundam High School implies that there's going to be death in the future.
Yeah. And
The worst thing that happens at Yu-Gi-Oh! High School is you lose your lunch money if you don't
no,
have a good
no,
deck.
do not say that, you lying motherfucker.
The worst thing that happens is you get thrown into a cult because you lost at a card game. I mean,
There
you're
you
already
go.
there. You might
You're
as
still-
well.
You're still alive.
Some people died. Also, Jaden became the Dark Emperor for a moment. It was a time. Anyway. So, yeah, episode 0 really shows you the hardcore stuff. And it's very interesting because, like I said, at first, you don't get to really see anything come of that for that episode 0. Like, a lot of the story beats start popping up around episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little earlier than that. But then season 2 is where it's like, oh, this is Gundam. It was like you said, it was a very strong, very good opening for old Gundam fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have any problems with it. It blew my mind how fast, like Kevin said, how fast things hit the fan. But yeah, it was. I think it was a very good premiere episode. Kevin, you got any little thoughts on it that you'd like to share?
Just for straight episode 1.
Episode 0.
Oh, for 0, yeah, for the prologue. Yeah. You guys all nailed it on the head. It was just really fun to watch, get immediately invested. We get to see at least some of the premiere capabilities of this new Gundam that we're going to be following along with. Which, gotta say, very, very interesting and creative this time around. We usually have, like, all melee, all range, very, like, generic archetypes for the main pilot Gundam. But I don't think I've ever seen, like, a premier primary character use, like, a bit system like this one does. Which I think is just absolutely baller.
I'm not gonna lie, as kind of weird as it is how they're controlled in this one, I do like the bits compared to I mean, I guess you could say they're the same thing, but compared to oh god, what the fuck are they called? It's been a minute. The funnels. Compared to funnels from the original Gundam series. And I guess, Seed had them. They were called something else. Iron Blood Orphans didn't have anything like that, but it's always interesting to me how different Gundam series bring in the detachable little pieces, but how they were controlled is just such a wild thing to try and speculate, because it just is it the Gundam data that you control, and that's why it's such a strain on the body, or this and that. Because with Amuro and Char, when it was the Char's counterattack movie, they had the funnels, and that they were controlling it because new types are psychics, and they were using their brains to simultaneously control it. So it's very interesting to try and decipher how they control those little bits in this one. But going on to episode 1, the episode "The Witch and the Bride." We're shown we open up with a little familiar-looking red-headed girl, much older, flying in a little spaceship, being all nervous. I love Soletta so goddamn much. She's so adorable. And she's all nervous because she gets to go to this big Gundam school. Well, while she's flying, she sees a person floating out in space, and she's like, "Oh my god, we got to go help the person." So instead of letting the captain and the rescue crew go do it. She just takes off in her fucking Gundam, and they're just like, you fucking idiot. Fine, just be careful doing that. So she goes and saves this reluctant person, because you see her waving her arms, trying not to, get grabbed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we are essentially introduced to our second main character, Miorine Rembrandt, who we find out was trying to leave said school because of some political BS that she is involved in thanks to her father, who, by the way, is the guy from episode 0 who fucking initiated the attack that killed a bunch of people. And he did that.
Almost everyone.
And he did that on the side. Like, he wasn't supposed to do that. But no one was going to say, hey. And then he somehow is the leader of the whole thing. So it was a fucking power grab. That's what that was. God, I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, I got some fat fucking fingers. Because every time I capitalize a thing, if it follows up with A, the A is also capitalized.
Wait, what does that got to do with your fingers?
So, because instead of letting go of the shift key before I hit A, I'm still holding shift. And
say no more. I thought you were writing everything down. That's why I got confused.
No, it was just...
Yes, he was holding the shift key with his pencil.
That's why
No, I'm getting better because I'm doing online notes now because I can actually read that. So anyway, go back to the episode.
Sorry.
No, I went on that little tangent. That was my fault. So, we find out that Miorine is trying to escape her father's little plan because at this school, if you're the top student, you get a sick fucking outfit, first of all. Granted, it's just an alternate color, but it looks fucking dope.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting games have taught us that alternate colors are always going to be the best.
It depends on the game and the character.
Exactly.
Are you sure though?
There is some pretty alternate.
You gotta admit, like there's at least one alternate that's always going to be a little bit better than
there's always at least one alternate, but like
that's what
the way
I'm saying.
you worded it, I thought you meant every alternate skin was better than the main skin. Like,
No. But like each one has its uniqueness and its qualities compared to the main skin. But there's always that one where you're like, they should have just stuck with this.
This should have been the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so basically, whoever's the top student has the rights to marry Miorine and essentially get control of said organization that's in charge of everything. How that works, I don't understand it. I'm terrible at understanding politics, but fuck it, that's just how it goes. Very old school kind of bullshit there.
The way that I understood that is she can't inherit it, most likely because of some weird patriarchal thing where she has to be the bride and therefore can't inherit the company. And so whoever her quote unquote husband will be is then the actual heir to the company.
That makes sense.
Here.
So then we're very shortly introduced to the current reigning student who just shows up in the middle of a duel. And God, he is such a pompous dick, let me tell you. He's like, oh, this guy talks shit, so I had to duel him, and I beat the fuck out of him right in front of everybody. Like, that's just how it works. But he beat him up in Gundam. That's the key word. He beat him up in Gundam. He didn't show up in school and just punch him in the face, which would have been...
Give me all your Gundam lunch money.
Yeah.
So it's very important. He didn't beat him in Gundam because in episode 0, the guy got rid of all the Gundams.
That's right.
He beat him in the mobile suits.
They're not Gundams, they're mobile suits. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're not Gundams. But then a fucking
Very
Gundam
important.
shows up. Anyway, so we continue on, and he's just being a dick, and Soletta meets up with Miorine at her little tomato building, And of course, here comes Dickwad McGee showing up with his little posse and starts thrashing all the tomatoes. And Soletta, in her best attempt to be tough, slaps his ass so goddamn hard that if there were jiggle physics, that shit would have been going for like 30 seconds at least. And like everyone was just fucking taken back. And then she hides behind one of his posse because she got scared of him. That part killed me. But you know, she somewhat stands her ground and says, hey, you shouldn't be treating people poorly. That's rude and all that other stuff. And so he, you know, being a dick, is like, oh, I'm tough guy around here, so I'm going to challenge you to a duel. And she accepts. And after a little bit of switcheroos, because Miorine tried to take control of the duel and couldn't pilot Soletta's mobile suit for worth a damn, Soletta got control and just bodied this guy. Like, I'm talking just straight up disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was so good. And the best part was that because he lost right before the assassination attempt on her father took place, his father had to back out from trying to take control of the company through espionage.
Right.
And so he was pissed about that. But yeah, we see firsthand that Soletta is a very talented pilot. To, you know, just straight day one beat the best student in the school.
Just fucking cast his asshole. It was awesome.
Yeah, he did. Kim, let's start with you for any episode review.
Me?
Yeah.
Cool. Fucking just stellar. Absolutely fantastic. The intro with this character, all goofy and sheepishly as she is, being a fucking a one-man combat machine, was the coolest shit on the planet. Like, so fucking kick-ass. I loved every second of it. Getting to introduce these characters and, like, this whole setting, very jarring, but also just kind of, like, slowly getting you invested in this, because it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not just some, it's like every other school where there are pieces of shit everywhere, and you can't wait for half of these people to either get knocked the hell out or lunch money taken. Except main girl, who's just the most precious little person in this whole galaxy, apparently. Everyone else has a fucking vendetta, a coup, or some other shit up their fucking sleeve. And he's just over here like, I just want to go to school. I would just really like to be your friend. And then it's like, jeez. Can't hit her. If you do, you like break a law or something, man.
Yeah.
It's really funny, but it's such a good intro for this whole thing. The big reveal at the end of the episode, if you haven't seen it yet, we're not gonna. I don't think it's cool to share right now, but unless you already said it, I wasn't paying attention. But I thought the ending was pretty much the cutest shit in the planet, and I was like, oh damn, this is
Well, I mean, we have to talk about
really
it because that becomes the main story plot for the rest of the show.
All right, cool. Then I'm just gonna say it. I just think it's so fucking cool how that was a big reward. It's like, yeah, so you don't have to marry him anymore. Like, yeah, that's right. I don't. I have to marry you now. And it's like,
Yeah. So with the victory of the duel, Soletta becomes a top student, and her outfit gets the yellow and white tone, and now she is Miorine's fiance. So
her
she would inherit
star-crossed
it.
lover.
Yeah. And that's basically the driving point for most of the show after that is, you know, Soletta trying to defend her title and, you know, her and Miorine getting close together and, you know, all this. It's such a cute little fucking Gundam series, I swear to God. It's like a fucking little puppy of an anime. Except when it decides it wants to tear up all of your important documents. Dwayne, how about you? Any statements for the anime or the episode?
I very much enjoyed. I very much enjoyed getting to see the little slice of life moments. I've been in a weird kick lately. Not so much with slice of life, but just seeing slice of life moments in shows. I like getting to see where all of the action is no longer the forefront, and you just get to see them kind of be people for a little bit. And it's just nice. I liked getting to see her try to adapt to school. I have dubbed I can't remember anybody's fucking name, but I have dubbed what's his face as Groose, and so Groose over there is doing his best to be Groose, and he got his comeuppance, and it was nice to see him get his comeuppance. So that was wonderful. Yeah, the reveal. So the reveal kind of lost its impact on me, I would say, just simply because of the fact that I have seen so many people talking about the fucking show for so long that I already knew I didn't know exactly how it was going to get to there, but I knew it was going to get there, that they're supposed to get married and everything. So I was just kind of waiting to see how that worked.
Yeah.
I liked
and I mean, right now obviously they're just engaged in the episodes, so
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I legitimately didn't even know there was a second season until you mentioned it earlier today. I knew I liked getting to see the attachment to the tomatoes and stuff, how she linked it to her mother. So very clearly there's gonna be something going on there. I never fully understand I never fully understand the enthrallment with Earth in all of these shows, but I also get it because they're not from Earth, and so naturally they want to go there for some reason, whether it's for familial or some kind of spiritual reasons. But it's always Earth, and I'm just like, we fucked Earth up. Nobody wants to go back.
Yeah, Gundam always has to have that conflict between space and Earth. Like, no matter what Gundam it is, you will always see that. And to what level, it depends on the series. But I mean, you know, you got Double O Gundam, where the celestial beings had to protect the space people, or whichever order it was, I forget. And then, of course, you had Original Gundam, where it was the Earth Federation versus Zeon. You had Iron-Blooded Orphans, where the main cast were from Mars, and they were tired of Earth, the Earth government, you know, bringing them down and stuff like that. So there's always that Earth-space conflict. And the reason they have that is so that they can have those moments of space and ground combat. Okay. Because, you know, like, even in 08th MS team, right? You know, it's still the Earth Federation versus the Zeon. It is 90% ground combat. But even still, there are a handful of episodes where they go up into space. So it's just a Gundam staple at this point. I mean, hell, even G Gundam. I mean, you had the whole thing of all the colonies. You know, they're like, hey, we're gonna have our destructive giant mecha tournament right here on Earth and fuck up the planet even more, and then we'll be back in another 50 years. Don't worry.
Yeah, that was always fucked, but I just assumed that was like elitism taking advantage of the poor and all kinds of shit.
That's pretty much what it boils down to, yeah.
But this one was just a little more. She's just so enthralled with her. I could see it as like a way of getting away from her oppressive father and everything that we'll talk about more. But I think it was a solid first episode. I personally think it's hindered a little bit by episode 0, and that's simply because if you watch episode 1 first, you get this slightly lighthearted show with cool mech designs, and obviously it's going to have cool animations, because when they got into the actual fight is when the animation budget kicked up. You could tell that was where the focus was. But it also shows it off as something similar to Gundam build, to where, okay, they're going to be fighting. It's going to be used as a sport. It's going to be used to settle things a la Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a way for them to have cool fights without the stakes of death.
Yeah.
And that could be seen as a slightly different take on it. Maybe a more lighthearted way to get certain people in. Broaden the audience. And, of course, they're going to sell more gunpla with it. But seeing episode 0 before that, and the massive tonal shift and the obvious secrets that are going to be popping up here and there because of what you know from episode 0, I feel like it hinders it a tad. And just, if you're an older fan, you're waiting for the dark stuff to come, and if you're a new fan, you're just kind of like, there's that whiplash of, okay, what am I getting into?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you on that completely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love both episode 0 and episode 1, but the tonal shift is just like, oh man, like, is that not how the series is going to go? When do we get to those story beats? When, this and that. And, having finished the series and loving the series, we don't get to those story beats for a little while. So, you're in for a little bit of a wait if you want to start getting answers to stuff that happened in episode 0. And, you get a couple of answers in episode 2. Not too much, but you get a couple of answers.
Yeah.
But that's also why I loved episode 0 before episode 1, because after watching episode 1, you're like, oh hey, cutesy, it's Dwayne, it's like the first episode of School Live, where you're following the pink little haired girl, and
but that's
I
was gonna say that one is designed in a. I get where you're coming from with that, but that one's designed in a very specific manner, and I'm holding off because I want to put that on the list for Kevin to watch.
Yeah.
That one's designed in a very specific manner to where it's supposed to shock you and deceive you. This one is less that and more of a... See, episode 0 is more of like a tonal trailer.
No, I'm not...
If that makes any
I'm
sense.
not saying the first episode was like that. I'm saying it gives you those underlaying, like, if you're looking for it, you're going to start piecing it together.
Okay.
It's just more drawn out than the first episode of that anime. But that's kind of what I was saying, is like, you watch episode 0, and then throughout the episodes coming up, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, I noticed that, stuff like that. But speaking of episode 2, Cursed Mobile Suit. So this episode, we start out, and it's almost right after the duel. Soletta is in trouble because, oh man, how can this Mercurian country bumpkin just show up, and because that's what she's literally called by several people, just show up and just beat the main guy. Like, you can't beat the main man and then expect to, like, not have some shit go on. She obviously had to have cheated, right? That's how that works. Because there's no way someone who looks like the main character can win.
But that's the thing, Ryan. She doesn't look like the main character.
So she's being detained. They're trying to figure out, this and that. They're like, "Oh, you're using a Gundam," and she's like, "No, it's not a Gundam. It's Ariel." Fucking. She wants to be part of your world and all that stuff or something.
There it is.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the dub and I was half expecting that line to show up somewhere.
That would have been really funny, but I don't think that we can get like ghost story levels of like fun from the script writers anymore.
Wait till season 2. So she's adamant about her Gundam not being a Gundam because she's told her whole life that it wasn't a Gundam. And so her mom shows up like, oh, it's not a Gundam, and how about we have another duel so we can prove that it's not a Gundam. And they're like, oh, you're just trying to BS us and blah blah blah. But kind of pride is on the line for these big old rich corpo people. So they, after a lot of that's not the right word. Exposition, thank you. Why do I keep saying exponential? Exposition dump. After a bunch of exposition dump, little lore on the backstory of the school, little lore on the politics in the school, and some stuff on the characters. We basically get down to the nitty gritty of they're gonna have a rematch, and you get to see some of the side characters a little more. I didn't write down her stuff too much because she's here and there, but Nico is like one of my favorite characters in this series. The little girl with the little blue in her hair. Just absolute like adorable character.
Oh,
Honestly,
the one who they're fucking mean to in the lunchroom?
Yeah. And
man,
just wait till you guys like really get to see Choo Choo, the girl with the pink balls of hair. Kevin, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Not a spoiler. But next, if you continue, I think it's episode 4. I think it's episode 4. You're just gonna fall in love with Choo Choo.
yeah, I kind of know.
But I will say this.
Basically perfect.
I will say this though, Kevin. By season 2, Gil.
Why did I think you were gonna say Gwen Stefani, and I wish that was real.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yes, the popular mobile suit rider, Gwen Stefani.
Yeah. Basically, asshole kid. He's gonna become your favorite character. By season 2, he's gonna be your favorite character.
Yeah, he's already pretty much a person to fall in love with by episode 3. It's like, oh, this guy's awesome.
But yeah, so we get to see a lot of stuff. And episode 2 was not. I'm not gonna say it was slow, but they didn't really have any Gundam action going on. And there's always those episodes that they don't have any Gundam action because it'd be hard to just have consistent Gundam fights and stuff like. But I think it was. I don't think it was a slow episode. I think it was a really good episode for giving you some of the inner workings and, like I said, the exposition dump. Got to meet a few of the more characters. Got to see personalities. Got to see the politics behind everything, and then of course Soletta just being like, I just want to be at school. She didn't even want to win that duel. She just wanted to be in school. So it's, yeah. I love this series. It's so hard not to say anything more about it.
Where does episode 2 end again?
Episode 2 ends when they basically accept that they're going to have a rematch.
I was going to say they were planning it out and they were getting ready to accept it, right? So, I would be willing to argue that episode 2 is not a bad episode, but it's the weakest one of these 4.
Mm-hmm. That is very fair.
And it's just because it's more of the lore exposition dump that you wouldn't need if you saw episode 0, just to kind of accommodate, because the whole talks of the mobile suits and the Gundams and how they're not supposed to exist, and just kind of understanding how this society is supposed to work, because you even see more on like apparently her dad is not just a big shot, but he's like the head of the company that basically ate every single other company, and they're vying for control. And every company is in like some weird fucked up ranking system, to the point to where the fucking three of them underperformed 3 times, and so he just cut off funding completely and said fuck off and get ready to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's all world building, so not bad, but definitely the weaker of the 3, or the 4 rather. Just because not a whole lot goes on past that. So they do, with what's her name being in the holding cell, they do introduce us to the dynamic between her and that boy is fucking weird. I don't remember his name, but he's got like no emotions. He made a weird fucking comment at the end of episode 1 of, "Oh, you know me. You don't have to worry about me falling in love with anybody." It's like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean, you fucking edgy high schooler?
Oh yeah, Green Chan.
Yeah.
The one with the grayish green hair.
Yeah.
His name is Elan. He comes up a little more later on.
Oh, I'm sure he's definitely gonna be playing a role in some way. He's interested in her, so we're gonna see more of him trying to figure that out. She is very clearly interested in him in some way that she doesn't fully understand yet. But he's an edgy piece of shit first and foremost. But you get a little more information out of him through the episode, which is nice. You get to see their little dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also we get reintroduced to Mom, and I'm not gonna lie, thought that was an entirely different character.
Dude, same. Oh, thank you.
Well, that was the point. Is like they're in hiding. You know, they changed.
No, I get that's the point. But like, even when she took the face off, I was like, oh, this is Mom. And then I was like, wait, is that Mom?
Like mom?
She looks. Because I assumed, from literally knowing nothing about episode 0 till we did this, I assumed that character was going to be the scientist helper stand-in, and then they didn't show her face. She went to appeal to the council, and they're like, "Oh, how can we trust you if you're gonna not even show your eyes?" And she takes her arm off, and I was like, "There was only one other fucking character they introduced that way. Is that Mom?"
Oh my god, I didn't realize that.
Off. Yeah, no, that was what tipped me off the first time. I was like, "Is that Mom?"
Oh
they
my
never said
god.
she died. And then
yeah,
I
just assumed.
On the thing, right?
Holy
and then when she's
shit.
talking to her on the hollow phone, she takes the fucking weird eye things off, and it's like, oh, okay, so she didn't lose her fit. Wait, why does she look so different? Is that actually Mom? And she says Mom, so.
One thing too, you gotta remember, in any Gundam series, like 90% of Gundam series, right? Watch The Mask.
Is it that big of a plot point in some of those?
Yes.
Actually, yeah. I just realized he's totally right. Oh my god!
Like I said, I'm a Gundam casual. I've only seen a handful of them in a handful of
I will
episodes
give
of
you
certain ones,
I will
so.
give you this little tidbit, Dwayne. Whenever a masked character shows up, Gundam fans have a heart attack.
Huh.
It's very true. It's very, very true. Holy shit.
Like I'm gonna later on I'll get you a
That's
picture.
hilarious.
I'll get you a picture of all the masked characters in Gundams. But yeah, so now, Kevin, did you have any last little minute things to say about the episode?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what Dwayne said. Very much, at least for me, the weaker of the 4 we got to watch. Still not a bad episode. Just, a lot of B plots all converging onto the same A plot.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you see where everything's kind of going. You kind of appreciate what's happening.
Yeah.
But you're just kind of, after the first, like, big epic fight, you're like, I'm just itching for, like, more of that shit now, because I want to see that thing just keep going. And that's exactly what we got. It's so good. The second episode, pretty good, but weakest out of the 4.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we definitely got that itch to scratch in episode 3, Guel's Pride. How do you say his fucking name? Giel?
I think it's Guel.
Guel.
Gorilla, got it.
Okay. Gorilla Grodd.
Wait, is this Bruce?
You know.
Is that Bruce's actual name? Because I legitimately don't know it.
Well, yes. Guel.
Okay, Bruce. Got it.
Yeah, got him.
So anyway, Manila Gorilla, we had to, he's got to do a rematch with Soletta, and we get a little bit more background to it. His dad's being a fucking dick. He's like, oh, we're gonna have you AI controlled this robot because we need to win this, and he's really not liking that idea, but he doesn't want to argue with his dad. He loves his dad, his toxic, terrible parenting father. So he goes along with it, and the duel starts, and not immediately, but pretty early on in the fight, the fire extinguisher, not the extinguisher. Was it extinguishers or was it the fire water stuff? I forget what it's called. Sprinklers. Shut up.
The emergency fire system,
yeah.
The sprinkler system.
Yeah, that went off, and that was blocking out Suletta's laser weaponry. So already, like, straight out the gate, she's at a disadvantage. And then, of course, the AI for the robot is, not letting Guel do his own fight, and he's getting all angry about that, but he's just trying not to displease his father. So after, Myorine and I think Nico help with get the fire suppression system down, the tide starts turning into Soletta's favor, and Guel is like, nah, fuck this. So he takes control, and he started like hitting back pretty hard. Like, he almost had it at a couple points. But main baby girl, ends up winning the fight, and also winning goddamn everyone's hearts, because he straight up right after the fight, she's like, oh, I respect your fighting style, and blah blah blah, and he's like, marry me, and freaked the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, because that came out of nowhere.
And it just,
I was actually a little upset about that. I was like, are you serious?
oh, come on, Dwayne. It was cute.
No.
No, don't know me. Kevin, you gotta be a tiebreaker here.
That's not fair. You already know my answer. Yes, of course I loved it. It was amazing. What a genuinely adorable reaction. Oh, you gotta give me that sauce. It's like, holy shit, dude, calm down. You just got your ass beat a second time with this girl. It's nothing new.
All I see is a man who's trying to say "fuck you, Dad," and he's got his high school hormones going off.
And
yeah, and.
This boy, this Dwayne's just fucking. This boy ain't right.
Yeah, he needs therapy. That's what he needs.
I mean, they all do. Let's be real.
Young man needs some therapy.
Big time.
But yeah, so episode 3 ended on a very very unique
Positive
note, and sets the story into a certain direction too, which is gonna be a much fun reveal for you guys if you continue watching it. God, I really should just do like end of series reviews, but then again, I'm not as entertaining.
I
All you gotta do is just type it up, my dude.
Yeah.
Type up your thoughts and then talk into the camera.
I totally think you got that. You kidding me? Just gush about what you like, and then fucking do another one.
But yeah, so that was the end of episode 3. Episode 3, the action was more ramped up than even the first episode. Um, you got to see a lot of cool shit. You got to see the piloting skills of the two strongest characters in the show, probably.
Mm-hmm.
At least so far. Um, I don't know. After watching the show, I'd say they're still probably some of the strongest characters. So, um, you got a little bit more background, um, but just such a good ending of the episode for our 3 episodes. Like, you know, because not that Trigon was bad, but the second and third episodes were not as engaging as the first.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, definitely, you had that engagement in episode 1. You had a bit of background in episode 2, and like you said, it was the weakest of them, but it was still a good episode. And then we went right back into it with episode 3. So definitely a good little way of having the episodes play out. And like I said, I was hooked on this show. Like there were some Gundams like I had to give it a little bit of a push to get into. This one, I don't know what it was, but I was enthralled like from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to hear what you guys' thoughts on it were.
You take it away, Kev.
All right, fucking yeah, dude. That third episode was so, like, episode 2 being just like, again, I say episode 2 may be the weakest, but in its encompassing thing, like it building up what was going to happen in the next episode, was all worth it. Very well laid out, all planned ahead of time, and it just made everything about that finale fight way more satisfying. It was pretty fucking cool. Very good series, very enjoyable characters so far. You get invested into like the dynamics and the power dynamic between certain folks on like the rest of like the high school ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's cool as hell. Like again, the bit system being like the and just in case somebody doesn't know what that means when we talk about that, in a lot of like science fiction type stuff with robots or mechs, there's a bit is like a nickname for like a small like controllable drone system that allows you to like handle multiple drones at once that usually do like either very menial tasks or very specific abilities. The last time I saw a good system like this was Gundam Rose from G Gundam, with the fucking classic Rose bits. So just in case you don't know what that all means, it's really cool to see like a main character, a main character mech have that ability, because usually that's reserved as like for the side character or some shit. It's not usually something used for the main one. So I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne, what are your thoughts?
The mech fights are cool. They're really well animated.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward. I'll eventually get back to it. I don't know if I'll jump back into it right away, but I do look forward to seeing more of them. I accidentally saw the 4th episode when I thought I was watching the 3rd one, so I do see a little more of where it's going. I like a little bit of the slice of life stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to care too much for the school part of it. I do like how they were trying to get to know each other a little bit better in this episode on top of the fight. They're trying to put some trust into each other, and what was it this one or was it the other? It's the other one. It's the 4th episode I'm thinking of. This one was all the fight. I did like how her little motto is pretty much what's going to drive the bunch of them to doing some better stuff. That if you run away, you get one, but if you face forward, you get two.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little motto, and I think it serves the theming of this one a little better than one might think, both in a literal and in a metaphorical sense, especially with the whole female protagonist and everything, the whole moving forward with the franchise and stuff like that. I could see it being used for it. Like you said, it's nice to see the bit system being the main character's weapon, because it lets her be a little more unique as opposed to just another sword or beam user.
Yeah.
Groose is a piece of shit. I will die on that hill. He can get as better as possible, but he's a piece of shit. We love him for it, but he's a piece of shit.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed what I watched. I enjoyed getting to see the parts that I liked the most. Honestly, were in episode 4, where there's a little more of the interaction between the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy the mech fights. Just there wasn't really a whole lot of them, I guess you could say. Because again, I keep wanting to say season 0. Episode 0 had an entirely different tone to it, and I mean, like you said, Ryan, it pops back up later on, but in these first 3 episodes, it's very different. The fighting in there was really good, and it makes you want more. But in these 3 episodes, standing alone from episode 0, it's really only the two fights and the 1 beatdown. They're cool. They're really nicely animated. You get to see some nice resourcefulness, and they're fun to watch. But it's very, very, very different. And so I can't tell if I'm going to like a lot of the fights yet or not. I'm sure I will, but it could be one of those weird things for me where it's like, oh, this one was a really good fight, but this one, even though it was animated great, it's just not hitting the right buttons for me.
Without like any spoilers, what episode did you end on?
Episode 4.
Oh, okay.
I saw the test and more interaction with the Earthling characters, and seeing what's her name? What's the main character's name again? I can't remember anybody's name. I am
Soletta.
Soletta. Seeing Soletta's to-do list for going to high school.
Oh yeah, her little fucking to-do list. It's adorable.
Those were a lot of that is what I like getting to see.
Protect the little tomato.
And I think it's because of that being in episode 4 and the fight mostly in episode 3 consisting of mostly just that fight, just drawn out, is probably why I'm getting the 2 mixed together, because they kind of blurred together too. When that episode ended, I didn't even realize the next one started. It just kept going.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things is like if you don't really pay attention, you just go right into the next episode. You're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. Overall, I would say it's a good fun experience, and if anyone was like looking for Gundam stuff, I don't know if long term, like if you watch the whole show, it's a good starting point. But these first 4 episodes are definitely a decent starting point for anyone interested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're definitely not like. I'm not taking the piss out of you for you enjoying at least a couple of these first episodes.
Yeah.
They're fucking solid.
Yeah. Now going into the voice actors, for Soletta Mercury, her English voice actor was actually in quite a bit of roles, but we'll start with her Japanese voice actress, Kana Ichinose. She was some roles here, like a lot of small roles here and there, but her big breakout, or not big breakout, but her big roles that I could find or that I was aware of are she was Ichigo from Darling in the Franxx, the blue-haired girl that liked the main character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I liked Ichigo. I don't care what people say. She had every right to be the way she was. Anyway,
Oh no, she did.
She was also I don't know if you guys will know her too well because I'm only vaguely familiar, but she is Yuzuriha from Doctor Stone.
Oh.
Yeah, the other modern day girl that his best friend likes. Kevin, if you ever got to Doctor Stone, I think you'd enjoy it, but it's also one that you have to want to get into.
It's definitely out there in terms of like its world setting. Definitely not the first thing I think of, but still pretty fucking cool.
A lot of people stand for Doctor Stone, which is fair. It's really not a bad series, but and then also I know you obviously would I don't think you play it in the Japanese dub, or maybe it's in Japanese. I don't know, but she is Rhine from Final Fantasy 14.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Final Fantasy 14 in English if you're in English, or can you change the settings? So I mean, I don't know what settings you have it on, but
Yeah, you can change the voice settings. I think there's, I believe there's Japanese, English, and French dubs.
Oh, okay.
For voice actors.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I know for sure there's English and there's Japanese dubs.
Well, yeah. So her Soleda's Japanese dub is Ryan from Final Fantasy 14. So I figured you'd probably like that a little bit. I don't know who that character is. So
character from Shadowbringers, so as close to current content as anyone could possibly get.
Oh, okay.
Also, as a side bit of useless information in my endless search for different content to watch, I've been watching old videos I haven't watched before.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the content creators, he was going through the expansions, and when she showed up in Shadowbringers and they were giving her a name, that content creator's wife said, "Oh, just call her Baseball. That's baseball." And now anytime I hear Ryan, I think of baseball. So just throwing that out there.
Lovely.
That's fucking hilarious.
I don't understand the context very well, but go for it.
There's no context.
Okay.
It was, what should we name her? Oh, call her Baseball. That's it. That's the joke.
All right.
It's baseball.
Okay. Pop off. We'll go with that.
Fucking baseball.
So her English
That's
voice
funny.
actor, is Jill Harris. She, like I said, she is actually quite a few different roles. Starting off, she is Yuzuriha from Hell's Paradise, the shinobi girl.
Shinobu-chan.
She's also Aura from Overlord. She's Nino from the Quintessential Quintuplets, the one that's kind of a dick, but has the lighter pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, she's in the English dub, she's Rika from Gridman.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, Gridman.
She is Noelle from Black Clover. So already she's got quite a few, main characters under her belt too. She's also Mandalay from My Hero Academia, the one of the, the cat squad, the one that can share her thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, she is Pudding from One Piece. Mm-hmm.
I'll have to hear what that sounds like. I haven't seen dubbed One Piece since Skypiea, so.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's and of course she was a lot of other roles too, but those were the ones that were the standout ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's Jill Harris, Soleda's English voice actress. And I kind of want to hear a certain line from a later episode in English. I want to see if it's as good as the Japanese dub. I'll probably look that up in a minute. For Miorine Rembrandt, Her Japanese voice actress goes simply by Lynn, like no last name, just Lynn. She is Miyako from Oshinoko. That's the adoptive mom.
Mm-hmm.
This one you guys probably wouldn't know. Maybe Dwayne would, but it's one of my favorite animes. She's Lilia from Mushoku Tensei. That's the maid character from that anime. She's a Japanese dub for Nico from DMC5.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that's Nero's partner in DMC5, if I remember correctly. I never got to play that one.
Yeah. She's kind of nuts. And by kind of nuts, I mean in the first trailer that had any actual dialogue in it, she's talking to a corpse as if she's shooting the shit and she knows it's a corpse because she kicks it off when they're done.
Sounds about right.
She's kind of nuts.
Oh man, that's awesome.
She is the voice actress for Sonia from Pokemon Masters and Pokemon Twilight Wings.
Oh, neat.
As well as Aqua from Fire Emblem Fates.
Huh.
And then, last but not least, she voices Mei for the Japanese dub of Overwatch.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting that there's a Japanese dub of Overwatch. I keep forgetting there's multiple dubs of Overwatch. They spend a lot of money.
They spent a lot of money on that game.
And now it's useless.
It's coming to Steam.
Who cares?
I mean, they got rid of the main selling point of why they made it a 2. That's a whole other fucking bag of worms to fucking talk about. Jesus Christ, Overwatch 2.
That shit's so trash, bro.
Oh, it was just because they had to hide something. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy content. Consume content. Don't ask questions. Get excited for new content.
Shut up.
Speaking of disappointments, Kevin, did you hear that Gundam Evolution is getting shut down?
No, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're closing the servers.
Why?
November 26th is when it's shut down.
Oh, is it November? I thought it said July.
No,
What the fuck? I thought it was doing good.
No, it's no, it wasn't. It wasn't drawing in people like it was supposed to.
Oh.
So they're gonna release at least one more character. I think by the end of the month, they are shutting down the purchasable income by the end of the month.
Oh, whatever. The game still exists, so who cares?
Yeah. So, but yeah, by November after December or after November, you won't be able to play it anymore.
Well, not normally.
Yeah, you have to go into like.
You'll find there'll be ways to play it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, going back to the voice actors. So Miorene's English voice actress is Natalie Van Sistine. Not too many big roles. A lot of small roles, but not too many big roles. But the big roles that she did have that I took notice of was she was Yor Forger from Spy Family.
Cool.
Oh. Okay.
And also one that doesn't mean anything to either of you guys right now, probably. Kevin, you're gonna fucking love her if you watch it. But in the upcoming season 7, yes, of My Hero Academia, because she voiced her at the very end of the last episode. She is She is Star and Stripe.
Oh, cool.
That is the American #1 hero and self-proclaimed apprentice of All Might.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, sure, that's it.
You know what that means? She's a bitch.
Actually, she's fucking dope, Kevin. You will love her.
That's not the word that I was gonna use, but okay.
Sorry, He told me about this character before. I just don't know where to throw the dart on the board here. So I just took a random shot.
Yeah, so those were her two. Those are her two English voice actor big roles that I could find, or that I thought would be something to point out.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you go from Yor and then Star and Stripe, like you got a bit of range on you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, Benny. So I only listed Soleta Miorne and Giel from the anime just because they're the main reoccurring characters, and just like the future anime, I think I'm gonna just focus on like the three prominent characters, unless they just have a handful of characters that are all prominent from any series we watch.
Mm-hmm.
So for Gil Jeddirk, his Japanese voice actor is Yohei Azakami, and he honestly didn't have too much going on for anime, but he was a lot of different main characters from video games, but a lot of them were like smaller games. So it was just kind of like, it was hard to list all of them. But his English voice actor is Bradley Gareth, and he also I had a hard time finding some standout points, but he was the fourth one for all user from My Hero Academia, the one that had the scars on his face and he tried to hide from One for All or All for One. And that's when they found out that they die early if they have quirks and yada yada. He was a character named Jubei from Blue Lock. That's that hardcore soccer anime. And then also he was the voice to a Thanatos skin from Smite.
How neat.
But yeah, so that's Gail's voice acting roles. And then, of course, the opening and ending songs. Opening song was Shuku Fuku by Yoasobi. And we've had quite a few anime already that have Yoasobi intros. I love this intro. Like, of the two intros we have, this is my favorite one. Just that initial, like, song, and then all of a sudden the electric guitar riff. It was just, I was hooked on that song.
You're talking about for the Gundam one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was
Dude,
so
it goes
fucking
so
fire.
hard, like
so fucking hard. It was the most fucking Sega Genesis ass sound font I've ever heard in my life. So fucking incredible.
And then for the ending theme, the ending song is called Kimi yo Hold on. Kidakaku. God, I'm so bad at this. Kimi yo Kidakaku R.
It's not fair. It's not your main language.
By Shiyui and Rio. And honestly, I forgot that they had an ending. It wasn't. I mean, it's not a bad ending song. It's not my favorite. Season 2's ending is a lot better. But
I can't wait to check that out now.
You guys are a bit more of the whole musical buffs. What did you guys think of the ending and intro and outro?
I hate to admit, I honestly don't remember them.
When was the last time you watched it?
Probably like 2 weeks ago.
No, I watched it last week, but it's been a busy few weeks. It's been a busy couple of months.
Fair.
It's also been hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot.
My brain's a little fried for a multitude of reasons. Hold on. Keep on going. You say your piece, Kev. I think I'll have something by then.
Like I said, the intro song is got such great high energy. It's very fun to listen to. It gets you pumped to watch whatever the fuck you're watching next. Like I said, that whole fucking like Sega Genesis like electric keyboard guitar sound font they used was like so fucking it hit an itch that I don't think anybody else on the planet might probably know unless they've done it too. There's a Contra game that came out on the Genesis. I believe it's Contra Hardcore, and it's got one of the greatest intros to a shooter game I've seen in a long time. Seriously, even if you don't play the game, just look up the first level of that game. It's so fucking dope. But I haven't felt like the guitar hit like that, not since the opening to that game. It's fucking stellar. The outro is not as memorable, but still enjoyable. I can't say, like I said, not memorable, so I can't say I have exactly anything fond to say about it. But after finishing an episode, it's nice to just wind down with some cool tunes. And that's what I got to say.
So I just did a quick little search, listening to the ending now. I think I enjoy the opening more than the ending as well. It's nice and upbeat, gets you in the mood. But I think the visuals and everything in the ending are a little better. I know it's just a bunch of stills and everything, but it's definitely telling a story of how the two of them are coming together, as opposed to the intro where it's just kind of them finding themselves and each other. This one's them coming together.
Mm-hmm.
The band also sounds very familiar, and so I'm going to look them up because it's driving me insane.
I have that all the time. I'll hear something like, "Who the fuck is that?" But yeah, overall, like I said, if you guys continue Witch from Mercury, I love this series. I think a lot of the hate is unnecessary, but that's just me. Great spring anime to watch.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would as well. I would agree. It's a good mech series for people that like mechs. It's a good Gundam. It's a good starting Gundam. Again, I don't know how it's going to go, but from everything that I've heard, it ends pretty strongly. I would say it's a good Gundam for Gundam fans, and I would say it's a good starting point for Gundam fans too. People that have been into the mechs and the designs but never know where to start. The story seems self-contained enough to where you just jump in, and sure, there's some stuff you might miss because of the history and legacy that comes alongside it, but I don't think it's as important.
With that, we will call it a night here, unless Dwayne found the band that he's looking for.
Oh, I'm looking them up, and everything's coming up in Japanese. I have absolutely no idea. I'm sure if I listen to one of them, I'll get it. But
so yeah, with that, then we'll call it here. If you guys are watching this podcast, I definitely recommend Gundam, Witch from Mercury. Definitely one of my favorite series to go to. But we will see you guys